For every woman walking the cobblestone streets of Ajijic,
I was a guidance counselor and a teacher in New York City.
there is a story.
I'm a doctor from New Jersey. A year ago, I just gave up my high-pressure job and my high-pressure life and moved here.
There are so many women in their 50s moving here to Ajijic, Mexico, that one woman wrote a book about them all. They're called Midlife Mavericks.
Everyone I talk to has those same people back home that say those two things. Either you're so brave or you're really stupid.
Women in their 50s.
They want to invent a new life for themselves, and they have the skills to do it.
Many from California,
Los Angeles.
taking this tiny Mexican village by storm.
Each time I go back to LA, everything is so out of line. It's so crazy. You just have to step back and look at it. It's really not real.
Some move to Ajijic to retire early. Others carve out a living. Mavericks like this former union employee, Marianne Carlson.
I worked at the Diablo Canyon Nuclear Power Plant in San Luis Obispo, Avila Beach, California.
7 years ago, she seemed to have it all.
I was making money, I had friends, and I had a nice house, but I wasn't happy. Now I live on less than a third of what I lived on in California, and I've never been happier in my life. And I have a gardener and a maid.
Now, for the first time, Marianne's making a living doing what she loves.
I make people and animals and bugs.
She sells her creations online.
I pay $350 a month rent for a 3-bedroom house with a yard.
Her lifelong dream of owning a gallery, now a reality.
These are one of the artist's work. These are called alebrijes. They're carved wood.
Marianne sells handmade pieces made by neighboring villagers, giving them 100% of the profits.
Some of these people, their art, whatever they do, pottery, weaving, has been in their family for generations. And yet there are artists considering not passing that on to the next generation because their life is so hard. And that's been the cause I've taken up here, and I never would have imagined that my life would have turned out to be this good.
Teresa Kendrick couldn't agree more.
You know, you forget about it after a while, how lucky you are until you go back to the States and you're in this rat race that we can hardly believe.
She moved to the area 12 years ago for health reasons. Today, she is a prolific writer, authoring, among other works, the first insider's guide to Ajijic and the Lake Chapala area.
I wrote a guide to this area because so many people were interested in coming here.
Ajijic is never warmer than 85 degrees. Teresa eats fruits from her trees, grows orchids, and always has time for an outdoor breakfast with friends. She says what draws women to the area has more to do with community than climate.
It all centers around connecting with your neighbor or your family and so forth. Whereas in the States, I think we're too driven by work and owning things.
It was the community that drew former New Yorker Diane Pearl.
I've got these pre-Columbian things. There's the indigenous, the Mexican, the Spanish, the American and Canadian, and it just seems to be a beautiful melting pot.
She runs a popular gift shop where she sells her own art as well.
I was starting to get age discrimination in my 40s in the States. Here I've been able to have a thriving business, and it is just one of these phenomenons that just works.
The locals and even the lake have set a pace of their own. For every woman walking the cobblestone streets of Ajijic who once wondered if there was more to life, now knows she has a story to tell, and it just may be her best chapter yet.
If you've got a dream, I think you should give yourself a chance to follow it.
Stacey Butler, KCAL 9 News.